Hey there, ready to explore something a little unexpected? Today's deep dive takes us into the book of Exodus.
Oh, Exodus.
Specifically the story of the Israelites and that manna they received in the desert.
Ah,
Now we're working with a version designed for kids.
okay.
But don't let that fool ya. Even seemingly simple stories can hold some surprising depth.
It's true. It's interesting how these ancient tales, even those intended for children, often reflect these timeless human struggles and questions about faith.
Okay, so picture this. The Israelites have just escaped Egypt after witnessing that mind-blowing parting of the Red Sea. They're bursting with joy, celebrating their newfound freedom.
Yeah.
You can almost hear the music and laughter.
Right? It's a powerful image of liberation.
Yeah.
However, this initial euphoria,
It doesn't last.
it's short-lived.
Yeah.
Their journey through the desert becomes a real crucible, testing their faith and their resilience.
Right. It's not all sunshine and roses. The desert throws them some serious curveballs. First, they end up at Marah, where the only water is bitter. Totally undrinkable. I can only imagine the collective groan that went through the crowd.
It's a stark reminder that freedom doesn't automatically equal ease and comfort. This episode at Marah reveals the Israelites' vulnerability. Even after witnessing miracles, they quickly fall into doubt and complaining.
Yeah, talk about a mood swing. And then things escalate. They reach the desert of sin, and guess what? No food. Cue the dramatic music.
Oh no!
It's fascinating how quickly their tune changes. They start longing for the good old days in Egypt, even though they were, enslaved.
It's so interesting, right? Their yearning for Egypt, despite its hardships, speaks volumes about human psychology. It's this pull towards the familiar, even if it's detrimental, because it offers a sense of security. The unknown, even with the promise of liberation, can be terrifying.
It makes you wonder if maybe we all have a bit of that Egypt mentality sometimes, clinging to comfort zones even when they're holding us back.
Yeah, it's a universal human struggle.
So just when things seem bleakest, enter the manna. This bread from heaven appearing every morning. The craziest part, they have absolutely no clue what it is. They even name it manna, which literally translates to, what is this?
Huh.
I mean, can you imagine being that clueless when presented with breakfast?
The reaction to the manna is both humorous and insightful. It highlights the wonder and confusion we often experience when confronted with the divine.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the ways of a higher power often defy human logic.
Okay, but here's the kicker. God provides very specific instructions. Gather enough for each day, and on the sixth day, collect double for the Sabbath, a day of rest. It sounds straightforward, right?
These instructions aren't just about gathering food. They represent a test of faith and obedience. It's like God is saying, trust me to provide for you, but follow my guidelines.
Yeah, it's like that age-old saying, trust the process. But of course, some folks just can't resist testing the boundary.
Human nature at its finest.
Some try to stockpile extra manna thinking they've outsmarted the system, but surprise, surprise, it spoils, becoming a smelly, inedible mess. Others get lazy and skip the gathering. Then, of course, whine about being hungry. It's almost comical, right?
This disobedience underscores the consequences of trying to outsmart divine wisdom. It's a powerful reminder that true sustenance comes not just from physical nourishment, but from aligning ourselves with a higher power and following its guidance.
It took a whole week, but they finally got the message. Fresh food every day meant following God's instructions to the letter. It's almost like a cosmic life hack, wouldn't you say?
It is.
But you'd think that would be the end of their troubles, right?
Not quite. Their journey is far from over.
Nope. Their desert drama continues. They face even more hardships, like a lack of water at Rephidim and an attack by the Amalekites.
Oh, wow.
It's like one thing after another. You have to wonder if they ever got a moment to just chill.
These ongoing challenges highlight a fundamental truth about life. It's a continuous cycle of obstacles and triumphs. The Israelites' experience reminds us that faith isn't a one-time event, but a constant process of navigating hardship and reaffirming our trust in something beyond ourselves.
And through it all, Moses is there juggling these crises like a pro. He's constantly appealing to God for help, acting as the go-between for the Israelites and the divine. He even gets into this epic staff-waving showdown during the Amalekite attack. You have to admit, that's pretty awesome imagery.
It is Moses embodies that classic leadership archetype, shouldering the immense responsibility of guiding his people through seemingly insurmountable challenges. His unwavering reliance on God, even when exhausted and facing despair, underscores the power of faith to sustain us through adversity.
But even the strongest leaders need a helping hand sometimes. Enter Jethro, Moses' father-in-law. He shows up and basically says, dude, you're burning yourself out, delegate. Find some capable people and share the workload. I mean, solid advice, right?
And thankfully, Moses actually listens. which suggests he was humble enough to recognize his limits and accept guidance.
Right. Jethro's counsel offers a valuable lesson for us all. Even the most capable leaders aren't meant to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. It highlights the importance of seeking and accepting wise counsel, recognizing that distributing leadership and responsibility is crucial for success.
And it's not just about avoiding burnout. Think about the organizational principles Jethro likely suggested, establishing a clear hierarchy, empowering others to make decisions, streamlining processes. It's like he was laying the groundwork for modern management best practices.
Exactly. Delegation and structured leadership aren't just modern concepts. They have roots in these ancient stories, showing us that effective leadership is timeless. So after all of this, the Israelites finally reached the Sinai Desert. This is a huge turning point, because this is where they received the 10 Commandments, establishing a covenant with God. It's almost as if the story of the manna was a test run, prepping them for the even bigger challenges and responsibilities ahead.
The arrival at Sinai signifies a crucial shift in their journey. Having learned valuable lessons about trust, obedience, and the importance of divine guidance, they are now ready to enter into a formal agreement with God, solidifying their relationship and laying the foundation for their future as a nation.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground escaping Egypt, the miraculous manna facing constant challenges, getting some sage advice from a father-in-law. But let's shift gears for a minute. This story has gotten me thinking, the manna isn't just food, right?
Right.
It's a symbol. What's your manna? What are those things in your life that nourish and sustain you?
That's a brilliant question. If we view the manna as a symbol for the things that sustain us physically, emotionally, spiritually, the Israelites' journey takes on a whole new dimension, a deeper meaning that resonates with our own lives.
So let's break it down. The Israelites were told to gather only enough manna for each day. What could that represent for us today? Maybe it's about being present, appreciating what we have right now, and not stressing about tomorrow.
That's a powerful interpretation. It could also be a call for gratitude, acknowledging the blessings in our lives instead of constantly chasing more. It reminds me of that saying, enough is a feast.
And remember how the manna spoiled if they hoarded it? Seems like a pretty clear message against greed, right?
Absolutely. It's a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of materialism. Clinging too tightly to possessions can lead to spiritual stagnation. True abundance comes from sharing and using our resources wisely. It makes me think about the downsides of hustle culture, this relentless pursuit of more often at the expense of our well-being.
That's a great point. It's like we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us we need more stuff, more money, more success. But the manna story reminds us that true fulfillment comes from a different place.
Exactly. It's about aligning ourselves with a higher purpose, trusting in a power greater than ourselves, and finding contentment in the present moment.
Okay, but it wasn't just about hoarding. Remember those folks who were too lazy to gather enough manna?
Oh, yeah.
Then surprise, surprise, they complained about being hungry. What's the lesson there?
It speaks to the importance of personal responsibility and initiative. We can't just sit back and expect good things to fall into our laps. We have to actively participate in creating the life we want.
So it's not just about being grateful for what we have. It's also about putting in the effort to cultivate those things, to nurture them, to make sure they continue to nourish us. Kind of like tending a garden. You can't just plant the seeds and then walk away. You have to water them, weed them, protect them from pests.
I love that analogy. It's a beautiful way to think about our relationship with the things that sustain us. We have to be active participants in our own well-being.
And of course, the biggest takeaway from the manna story is this idea of trust. The Israelites had to have faith that God would provide the manna each day, no matter what they had to trust. That must have been incredibly difficult, especially with all the other challenges they were facing. It's like they were being tested over and over again.
Their faith was constantly challenged. It's a powerful reminder that even when things are tough, even when we're surrounded by uncertainty, we can choose to hold on to hope and believe that we're being cared for.
It's like that saying, leap and the net will appear.
Exactly. It's about taking that step of faith even when we can't see the whole path ahead.
So zooming out a bit, it seems like the story of the manna is really about learning to trust in something greater than ourselves, to follow guidance even when it doesn't make sense, and to cultivate gratitude and responsibility for our own well-being.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a reminder that we are not alone, that we are part of something larger, and that we have the power to create a fulfilling life even amidst challenges.
And it's not just about surviving each day, right? The Israelites weren't just wandering aimlessly in the desert. They were on a journey heading towards a specific destination, the Promised Land. They had a purpose, a bigger goal that kept them moving forward. What do you think that Promised Land represents for us?
That's a fascinating question. If we think of the Promised Land as a metaphor, it could represent our own personal goals, dreams, aspirations. those things that we're striving for that give our lives meaning and direction.
So it's not enough to just gather our daily manna. We also need that sense of purpose, that vision of where we want to go, what we want to achieve.
Precisely. And just as the Israelites faced obstacles and setbacks on their journey, so too will we encounter challenges in our own lives. But the story reminds us that with faith, perseverance, and trust in something greater than ourselves, we can overcome those obstacles and reach our destination.
That's a powerful message, and it's a beautiful way to think about the challenges and triumphs we all face in life. It's not just about surviving each day, it's about striving towards something more, something that brings us closer to our full potential.
And perhaps, just as the manna sustained the Israelites on their physical journey, our own manna, those things we hold dear, can provide the spiritual and emotional sustenance we need to navigate our own personal journeys.
It's like the manna gives us the energy and nourishment we need to keep moving forward, to keep pursuing our dreams, to keep reaching for that promised land within each of us. But there's one piece of the manna puzzle we haven't touched on yet: the instructions. God didn't just hand out the manna and say, good luck. He gave them specific guidelines on how to gather it, how much to take, and when to take it. And there were consequences for those who disobeyed. Why do you think those instructions were so important?
Oh, those instructions weren't arbitrary. They were designed to teach the Israelites valuable lessons about trust, obedience, and living in harmony with divine will. They were a way to guide them, to help them develop the qualities they would need to reach the promised land.
So if we apply that to our own lives, what does it mean? Are we talking about following societal rules, religious doctrines, moral principles, or is it something more personal, like listening to our intuition, following our passion, staying true to our values?
It could be all of those things. Perhaps it's about recognizing that there's an order to the universe, a set of principles that govern our lives, whether we're aware of them or not. It's like there's a blueprint, a divine code that we're meant to decipher.
And maybe just like the Israelites, we have to learn to discern those principles, to listen to that inner voice that guides us towards what's right for us. It's about tuning into that inner compass.
Exactly. It's about cultivating awareness, both of ourselves and the world around us, so we can make choices that align with our highest good.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, though, is it? We're human. We make mistakes. We get tempted to cut corners, to bend the rules, to do things our own way.
It's like that saying, rules are made to be broken, but sometimes when we break the rules, we end up breaking ourselves, right?
That's the paradox, isn't it? We crave freedom and autonomy, but we also need structure and guidance. It's a balancing act. We're constantly navigating the tension between our desires and what's ultimately best for us.
And just like the Israelites, we sometimes have to learn the hard way. We experience the consequences of our choices, both good and bad. And hopefully through those experiences we grow, we evolve, we become more aligned with our true purpose.
Yeah, it's a journey of trial and error, of learning and unlearning, of stumbling and getting back up.
Yeah.
But it's through those challenges that we discover our resilience, our strength, our capacity for transformation.
It's like those obstacles, those moments when we stray from the path. They're not there to punish us. They're there to teach us, to redirect us, to help us course correct.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. It's about trusting that even when we mess up, we're still being guided. Even when we fall, we're still being supported.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What can they glean from this ancient story about manna instructions and the journey to the promised land?
Perhaps it's a reminder to pay attention to the manna in our own lives, to be grateful for the things that sustain us, to seek guidance both internal and external, and to trust that we're being led towards something meaningful even when the path ahead seems unclear.
And to remember that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. It's about savoring each step, embracing the challenges, and celebrating the triumphs. It's about trusting the process and believing that we have everything we need to reach our own personal promised land.
Beautifully said. The manna, the instructions, the journey, it's all a metaphor for the human experience. It's a reminder that we're not just wandering aimlessly through life. We have a purpose, we have guidance, and we have the power to create a fulfilling and meaningful existence.
So there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the surprising depth and wisdom of a children's story. We hope this has sparked some new insights and maybe even inspired you to seek out your own manna from heaven. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.